Representative Bradley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've talked about this bill a lot. You know, the premise of this bill, and I told the bill sponsors, I could really get behind. I think there should be some regulations to people donating and having 150 children out there. I don't think that that's healthy for anyone. There was about 10% I couldn't get behind. I feel like we tried to run fair amendments and, again, just fell on deaf ears because we just don't seem to be very bipartisan when it comes to running amendments. We seem to send it off to the Senate to let them do the work for the House. I still don't understand that. I feel like there's a ton of us that work really hard in this chamber, and the destruction of embryos, we talked about this. I went through infertility treatment. I went through in vitro. There's no reason to create an embryo. And the lawyers even said there's no reason to do that. It just creates conflict. And for our side of the aisle, it's a different issue. For the lawyers, it creates conflict because of the legality involved. For our side of the aisle, it creates conflict because we believe life begins at conception. So there's no reason to unify the gametes and create an embryo. Life. And then just to be able to throw it out like the trash. And so when we get this pro-death cult and words like that, this is where it comes from. When you don't accept amendments from our side, when we could get behind the basis of this bill, if you just struck a couple of things out of the bill, and you could have a good bipartisan bill. But it just falls on deaf ears. And then we talk about family planning. And for a lot of people, especially in rural Colorado and other places, that might have taken the first chemical abortion pill, that are struck by their decision to do that, to eliminate their ability to then take progesterone. And we hear people come up here and talk about a 12-person study. I'm going to say it louder for the people in the back. Progesterone, women are put on progesterone most of their pregnancies to benefit them so they don't have a miscarriage. When I did IVF, I was placed on progesterone for the first 8 weeks of my pregnancy. It thickens the endometrium. I'm not going to sit here and listen to people come up here and say it's dangerous for a woman. It's not. It's not. You can't say that it's okay for children to take it in non-FDA approved settings and then to say it's dangerous for women that want to keep and maintain their pregnancies. We got to stop doing that because the people of Colorado are listening and they're sick of the hypocrisy. Progesterone is safe for women who are pregnant. Progesterone is safe for women after they take the first chemical abortion pill. If it wasn't, they would take it off the shelves. You can't say it's safe for that and then say, or you can't say it's unsafe for this and then say it's safe for a 12-year-old in a non-FDA approved environment. We have to stop doing that because women like me wouldn't be put on it. Family planning should also include women who make a mistake and want to maintain their pregnancy. 70% of women we know could save their pregnancy by taking progesterone. But we hear people come up here from a 12-person study and say, no, it's dangerous, while most of us through our pregnancies were on it. So please stop with the false narratives. It's just getting old and worn down. Every individual has a fundamental right to make autonomous decisions about the individual's own reproductive health, including the fundamental right to use or refuse reproductive health care and the ability without government restriction. I think we heard that yesterday, without governmental interference. Only works when you're creating a loophole for a certain or carving out a certain group of people. Last night it was going against parental rights. It's okay to have governmental interference. Today, my children, if someone gets pregnant, won't have any say in the decision. The men who come along the journey, both physically, emotionally, and financially, they're the government restriction. And we talked about who is the custodian of this. We've heard court cases, but the courts really haven't decided. They haven't realized who is responsible for the embryos. And again, if you didn't make embryos, there would be no question whatsoever. A woman could keep her eggs, a man could keep his sperm, everything would be fine. And this bill would be a good bill. Again, we tried. We don't believe a baby is property. We don't believe embryos are property. We don't believe they can just be destroyed like a clump of cells. I've said it a million times. And now we're taking a huge group of people out of the picture. It takes two to tango. It takes two. I know we all did basic science. And to just not be heard about the two amendments that we offered, just to take embryos out of it, just take embryos out of it. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating to hear that we will hear that this is the most bipartisan session. We'll hear things like that. But I hope that the people of Colorado hear that our side offered multiple amendments that weren't even considered. Almost like a predetermined outcome that we see time and time again in this building. And then if that wasn't enough, yesterday, 1312 removed a shield law, but in this policy, there's one in here. We have, contrary to the public policy of the state to permit an individual to bring civil or criminal action authorized in another state against an individual in this state for attempting to engage in the following conduct, and then it goes on and on. So I'm confused. We pull one out of one bill because we can't tell states how to mandate, and then we put it in another bill, and it will get voted through, and there's no rhyme or reason. I'll say it again. In the quest to be pro-choice, we have created a pro-death state. And I don't think that's fair to the women of Colorado. I urge a no vote. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion